July 8th, 2020, Anthony. I'm very excited because we've got back one of my favorite people in the entire hospitality industry.
Yeah, I'm here.
Sure. Anthony, so great to see you today. It's another beautiful day. It's finally stopped raining. Sun's outside, but I'm excited because we get to talk to Mr. Rob Palleschi today.
That's right. One of my favorite people, and he said he was going to solve all the world's problems. So we're going to check it out. We'll check that out. But you know what's so funny? Right before we went live, the producer or you said, "Here we go," and I was like, "Do I have to pack a bag? Where's the plane? What time do I go?"
I know where we're going.
Tell me, here we go. Right now, if somebody's telling me they're going to open up an envelope, I'm getting on the plane.
Yeah, well, I know where we're going, Anthony.
Oh, I know.
Friday.
Wait, no, secret or no secret?
It's up to you, man.
All right.
Because we've had a couple of false starts. We're trying to get out of here and do some stuff. But,
all right. No secret.
All right. No secrets or secrets. I'm confused now.
No secret.
So, okay.
Oh, I mean, you talked about it yesterday on the show.
Oh,
that's a secret.
All right, Garden City Hotel. We're going to broadcast live from there on Friday. Very excited to be able to do that. And yes, everybody, we will be taking physical distancing precautions, but it is important for us to get out there and bring you content from on the road again.
That is so funny. Is Jeff going to come with us?
Yeah, he's totally going to come with us. Being that
he'll figure out the technical part.
Mm-hmm. I hope so. He won't be able to do anything about the lack of talent that hosts the show, though. We got that.
No, I'll cover that. I'll make sure I take up for it. Well, I do that every day anyway.
Yeah, keep thinking.
Are you okay? Your cough's okay? Should I be seeing you?
You know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. I had a handful of peanuts before we got started on this, and some peanut dust has now become lodged in my throat, and I'm feeling a little coffee because of it. It's nothing else.
Okay, that's good. So let's bring in our guest, my friend.
I don't think I got to warn Rob. It's really tough to find hot peanut dust talk. So we'll see what happens. Let's bring it. All right, one of my favorite and definitely the funniest CEO in the hospitality industry, Mr. Rob Palleschi, is joining us. You guys know him as CEO of G6 Hospitality, which operates brands such as Motel 6. Rob, great to see you, sir.
Great to be seen. Clearly, you guys are desperate. You're scraping the bottom here.
You know what's funny? I'll tell you what's funny. What's funny is the last time we spoke, you said you were going to solve all the world's problems. And I just want to know, outside of Kanye West running on the birthday party, what else have you done that's positive?
Oh, so many things. We have solved at least 98% of the world's problems. It's this 2% that we can't seem to get our hands around. The social unrest, the global issues, the economy. Otherwise,
the pandemic,
we're good.
But the 98%, you got that down.
Totally done.
I'm extremely concerned. If he's running out of the birthday party, I hope he's not going to wear a birthday suit while campaigning. Do we have to worry about that?
As Rob said off camera, or somebody said, Tom Carvel is going to be his.
Tom Carvel, Thin.
That was him. I'm really looking forward to bringing Tom Carvel back to this world.
You know, somebody is going to be upset with us because we're not taking his candidacy seriously. So let's stop talking about him.
Sure. I'm sure people are going to be lots of upset. That's all right. I don't take his music seriously either. So
okay. So listen, the birthday party may work. So Rob, what's going on in your neck of the woods? Do you have people back in your corporate offices, or are you all by yourself again?
I'm still. There's about 10 people here today. So it's I'm still coming in and out every other day, and there's just a few people around, and we're keeping the lights on here in Dallas. But it's going well. Business is continues to improve, thankfully. Our system-wide occupancy is hovering right around 60%. Mm-hmm. And our rates are holding, thankfully, down, but, down in the single digits. So
this time last year, what were you, about 68%, 70%? Or
No, this time last year, we were in the upper 70s.
Okay.
So, I think we're pretty consistent. Our decline is not dissimilar from others. We're probably, RevPAR declined in the 20% range.
Right. And just to make a little note, typically in the entire modern history of the hospitality business, occupancy has hovered around 68% if you were to average it. So compared to averages, not that bad, but nowhere near what we were experiencing just a year ago.
Right. And I still dispute the 68% historic occupancy because, we did do the manger thing where, the innkeeper oversold and Jesus was born in the back. So we were overbooking back then.
Right.
That is true.
So when we first talked, we know where we were, right? It was like everything was getting ripped apart.
Wait, hold on. But Rob, the problem there, I got to go back to this major thing. It was a major holiday at that time, so it's natural that it'd be overbooked because Christmas season is always very busy in majors.
And we didn't have the skill of revenue management or loyalty programs.
All right, sorry, Anthony. I didn't mean to cut you off.
So Glenn, can we go back with the show now? Okay, I think comedy clubs on the 4th stage are opening, and I think we'll book you there. Okay.
Good.
All right,
Glenn. This is serious business, Glenn.
Okay, Anthony.
It actually really is serious business. But so the question is, where are your franchisees head? Where are they right now? Are they still with the loan processing, the PPP money? Where are they?
Yeah, they're still, a number of them are still focused on, on looking through their debt, on, debt restructuring, some conversations with the banks. But generally, at least my franchisees are in a good place, focused on the experience, trying to improve the quality, ensuring compliance with all the cleaning standards that have in place, and trying to help and support their team members. Because system-wide occupancy, again, at 60%, there's a lot of players out there that are doing in the 70 and 80% range. So business is somewhat normal for those players.
Wow.
It's just the ones that are still in the outlying areas, the outliers that are a little bit with the reduced occupancies that are still trying to navigate some things.
But how about like the Best Western in the big cities like in New York, Chicago, LA? How are they doing? Sorry. Did I just say Best Western?
That's okay. That's okay. David and Ron are great people, and they'll tell you they're doing very well. Although they would say a lot more, they would be more articulate than I would. But
I don't know about that.
But definitely not as funny.
Yeah. Dave maybe, Ron, no way.
Oh no, come on. I've known Paul for 25 years. Yeah, he can be funny. But no, our city center properties are doing pretty well. If you look in LA, if you look in, downtown San Diego and some of those city center markets are doing well. Now, we don't have the big box, core hotels. We've got smaller properties. So it's obviously, easier to fill. We don't have some of the compression challenges that you would have with a, 200-300 room, big box in the city center. But generally speaking, we're doing, we're pretty pleased with the performance, and all the channels seem to be working well. Although we are seeing a little bit of a decline coming out of the OTAs, but it's not dissimilar from others out there that I've seen reported.
Do you think it's you're seeing a negative on the OTAs because people are they wary of booking through them because of cancellation policies and things like that? And you guys are doing a better job with your direct bookings?
Yeah, I like to think so. I think that a number of players out there of guests and travelers had challenges at the onset of the crisis. And they're still trying to navigate those in some cases. So I think the industry's direct booking messages are finally sinking in, and I hope that customers appreciate it and value it, and long into the future they'll continue to come directly to our channels, whether that's our websites, our mobile apps, or even our 800 numbers.
I think that's awesome that you're turning this into an opportunity, which is something that we've been preaching for a lot of years here on all of our programs and in the industry in general, that you've got to wean people off of it. And once they book direct, it's up to each and individual hotel owner to create some magical moments in order to get people to book direct again? You think you're well leveraged to be able to wean people off of what they've been so accustomed to?
Yeah, I mean, it's still always going to be hard to compete with the marketing budgets of the OTAs. With ours, that's a little, the cost pressures that we have are different, obviously from their model. But that said, I think at every interaction, we're trying to improve. We're improving our websites, we're improving our mobile apps, we're improving our capabilities at our call centers, and most importantly, at that point of interaction in our lobbies, albeit behind a plexiglass screen or behind a mask, we're doing everything we can to instill confidence in the customer, to welcome them back, and to reaffirm the booking path of coming to us direct. So
great. I've got a housekeeping question to ask you in just 1 second, but I do want to put out a note, because you said something interesting about budgets and advertising. Companies like Expedia and Booking.com could spend well over $1 billion every single year in advertising, where major hotel companies aren't even approaching that kind of number. So it's almost like a 10, 20 to 1 type of spend ratio. So it makes your job so much harder.
Oh, it most definitely does, and it's a struggle, because you can scream as loud as you can, but if you don't have that marketing budget, it's a challenge. Right.
All right. So, question coming from our audience: what is the housekeeping procedures with Motel 6 when entering rooms to be sanitized?
Our procedures are, we've enhanced all of our cleaning protocols, and everything. We're ensuring that every surface is, we provide the correct cleaning chemicals. We're touching every surface more than, I'd like to say we have historically done, everything from tops of mirrors to, ensuring that we're wiping down the inside of drawers and those types of things. So it's an enhanced level of cleaning. It's also ensuring that we're not reusing, whether it be, the disposable gloves. We're making sure that we're using new rags in every guest room, et cetera, et cetera. So, we've got the same protocols that the rest of the industry embraced. And, it's working for us well. I mean, our customers recognize it and they appreciate it. And I think, in the past, many of us had always tried to do a lot of the cleaning at night, particularly the public area cleaning, around the grounds, et cetera. We didn't want the customers to see us cleaning, or, we just wanted the trash to disappear, or to ensure that when they woke up, it was spotless. Now we're not hesitant to clean during the day. And I think our customers recognize and appreciate that they see us with more frequency.
Right. It's kind of the opposite. They really want you to be visible. Another issue we've been talking about here. So you don't want to do it at night, because then it's hidden from the guests. And it's all about building confidence in them so they'll feel comfortable.
That's correct.
So let me ask you an owner question again, because I think, I'm really concerned. I know as what's going on with the owners. Any hotels right now going through forbearance or bankruptcy or losing their hotels, or is everyone under control?
Everyone's under control, at least in my system.
Wow, yeah. That's big news, because
everyone's under control.
That was scary. Now,
yeah, it's still it's scary. It still is, and we've had ongoing conversations with our owner advisory committee. Every couple of weeks, we actually have a call going on right now, and touching base with them to see what additional support they need, how else we can better support them. There's been a lot of talk about the fall. Everybody is worried about how does the fall look as PPP funds for some run out, and the end of the summer travel, and going into a more traditional business travel cycle. There's a little bit more trepidation, so to speak.
Right. You know, reasonably so, because right now the entire notion of business travel is up in the air. Just think about how we are not going to be traveling as much this fall and extrapolate that over so many different industries and businesses that are out there. It can be something that's super crazy. So for those of you just turning in, Rob Palleschi is the CEO of G6, which operates brands such as Motel 6 and Studio 6. So, Rob,
But you guys are traveling. You guys are traveling. You're going to Garden City.
I know. Seriously, that's like
Well,
20
listen.
miles
My
from here.
plane gets in. Glenn, what time's your plane get into Garden City?
I've got to fly from JFK to LaGuardia, and I expect there to be a little runway delay. So I'm hoping 11:30, and then I'll just buzz on over to the hotel and knock it
Okay,
out.
done. Someone once asked me. He said, "Does the plane stop at LaGuardia and JFK?" Yep. It goes whoop whoop. I don't think you can take off and land. I don't think there's enough space. And just so people know, JFK and LaGuardia, as a bird flies, is what, 5 miles?
Yeah, something like that. But about 2 hours in traffic pre-COVID.
No,
Right,
2,
exactly, yeah.
2 hours. I'm in front of that airport all the time. It's more than 2 hours.
Oh, just avoid Anwick Expressway. You'll be okay.
Oh, that's horrible. So that's really good news that everyone in your property, in your system is whole right now. What does that look like for fees back to your brand? Because your brand, you've got to keep the lights on, and so to speak. And so where are they? Are you still discounted? People paying them? People want to forego for a couple months? What's going on?
Yeah, we when we came out with fee relief in early March, we extended everything until the end of the year. We didn't think this was going to be something that was just going to end in the summer, and hopefully we were hopeful that it would end, but we figured that there was going to be a tail. So we extended everything straight into the end of the year.
What does that mean? Extended it? That they owe you at the end of the year, or is it forgiven?
It's forgiven. We reduced our royalty fees and we reduced our program fees, our marketing fees.
Wow.
And so additionally, we gave a rebate to our franchise partners for accepting business through Expedia. Because many of them have concern with Expedia fees. And at that time in March, our concern was owners shutting off channels. And we wanted to keep every channel pumping for us. So we figured we'd throw in an added incentive in there to help discount the cost of Expedia. But again, it was both royalty fees and program fees through to the end of the year.
So how do you get your team back to business? How do you get the corporate office back functioning when your fees are so highly reduced?
Well, that's the benefit of us owning hotels, right? I mean, I think that definitely helps when you own, we're down compared to our historic numbers, but we still own 275 properties. So that helps, generate the cash flow, and the necessary EBITDA to keep the lights on. Additionally, we are still, collecting, albeit less, but we are still collecting our royalty fees and our marketing fees that help, offset some of the other costs.
So how do you go about changing your approach to marketing, Rob, when you're reducing those marketing fees? Maybe marketing isn't as necessary during this period of time, or maybe you need to double down on it. What's your approach?
Yeah, we're looking at we're managing it pretty much on an every other week basis. We hit pause initially because we just didn't think it made any sense to market, widespread marketing, whether it be tactical or awareness marketing, during the onset of the crisis. So we've really not come out with anything too big yet. We will start with a little bit more aggressive marketing late July, going into August, and that will include different channels like Pandora, like Waze. Traditionally people are familiar with us on the radio, not a lot of TV. So we'll extend that. So everybody will be hearing Tom Bodett more. But we'll extend that throughout. But we're still hesitant to get really aggressive with marketing, the big dollar. So we're staying in close contact with our owner advisory committee, seeking their guidance on it as we move forward.
I like that you're rethinking of what you're going to be doing with those marketing dollars. The Waze thing, to me in particular, is interesting because I guess what you're specifically targeting is your roadside motel. You're following those directions.
Yes.
Oh, hey, a Motel 6 is popping up at the next exit. Hey, I happen to be tired. Let me stay at that hotel. That's smart. And I think that's a really wise way to spend your dollars.
And I also think there's a marketing opportunity because Tom Bodett will say, I'll keep the lights on for you. So on Waze, my voice will come up and go, how you doing?
I kind of like that. I kind of like that threatening approach. Like if you don't stop at the Motel 6, we're going to have a conversation.
If you stay at another brand, forget about it.
Your lights won't be on very long. So that's good news, And so how are you doing? Like you're in Dallas, you're in Texas, the numbers we're going up. You're running this big company. You got your own family. You got your own things going on. How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks for asking. We're all healthy, and that's all that matters, right? That's from the onset, that's what matters. And I think our team is doing remarkably well. We're having regular and ongoing communications, daily basis calls with our team, trying to keep them, educated and informed. Calls with the whole corporate office every couple of weeks. So we're staying connected. But I think the biggest challenge, for me and anyone that knows me, I like being around people. The energy, is for me is that enthusiasm and energy keeps me going. And so it does, I struggle a little bit when there's, you got these massive offices and there's a few people around. I'm probably driving those guys nuts, actually.
It's funny when I come out of my office and I'll go down for lunch or whatever, and my kids are around or whatever. It just seems like I just get in their way. They're like, Dad, I just came down for 5 minutes. How are you mad at me in 5 minutes? Like I didn't do anything. Apparently, yesterday I went out to say hello to one of their friends, and I didn't have. I had my shorts on with my suit, like I do right now.
Right.
They're like, "Really? You came out with your shorts and your suit and your Birkenstocks?" I was like, "Yeah, I did," and so I got in trouble.
Oh, you hippie!
That's what you're supposed to do. That's your number one job, is to embarrass your kids, right?
As much as humanly possible. So, what is it like in Dallas? Like, what are the cases right now?
It's pretty high. There's a lot of concern because the number of cases has risen. We've seen hospitalization rates rise, and so there's a lot of anxiety. And we were moving in a pretty cavalier direction where everybody was just, a month ago was out and, not a care in the world. And now everybody's rolled back again. And so a little bit more conservative and a little bit more hesitant, but it's Texas, and Texas is pretty tough. So, it'll rebound and move forward. And, there's some that are more conservative, but, go find my good friend, Dave Johnson. He's, I'm sure he's plowing forward. So
yeah, and that's kind of where we were in New York. Where listen, once the hospitals get filled up, people get scared.
Yep.
We had zero. Believe it or not, in New York, if I was reading the data right, we had 0 hospitalizations yesterday or 2 days ago.
It's tremendous.
Yeah.
So another question for you. I think when you were here last time, you talked about offering shelter for homeless during the pandemic in California. Could you give us an update on that?
Yeah, we still have a number of properties where we have occupancy agreements with the state and the various counties, Los Angeles County and San Diego County and up north. And so those are performing well. The county and us speak regularly, looking at, for updates, timing, et cetera. So far it's going very well. The governor was just at one of our properties last week. He did a press conference and gave everybody, in the state, a little bit of the update. But it's, it's something that, that everyone really jumped in. The industry really jumped in and aligned to help out. And, I give everybody credit for doing that. And, we're happy to do our little part in it.
Yeah, and that's so important. So, are there any other interesting, creative things that you're doing to try to put those proverbial heads in beds that we should know about?
Yeah, I think, look, for us, it's, just do the basics right. Just continue to take care of those customers, that are looking for, affordable, clean, and comfortable. And, that's the big focus for us. Nothing fancy, nothing over the top. But it's not just there. A lot of it, our focus is also how do we help our franchise partners during this time, and make sure that our brand performance team is still touching base with them, is still engaged with the properties, lending a hand, ensuring that they're leveraging all of the tools and resources that are available. And most importantly, that we over communicate. The more information they have, the better armed they're going to be to take care of the customers and better prepared when we all come out of this. Yeah. So I think that's kind of our focus. It's paying dividends for us. We still have a number of properties that we've got under contract to sell. And those, thankfully those buyers are, not only eager to close, but they're eager to do more deals with us. So our pipeline is still growing. We're still adding, which is, it's fantastic news. I think people recognize the value that the brand brings.
And most of your competitors are also hearing good news from their owners, but there's a couple of competitors, and we know who they are, not doing so well. And I think that they're going to come out of this and they're going to have a serious problem because their owners are really pissed off. And I think your steady leadership and your understanding immediately out of the gate, it's not the customer, the person staying in the room, it's the owner that owns the hotel first. Because if you don't take care of them, there won't be a bed for them, the customer to sleep in. And I think you got that quicker than almost anyone.
Yeah, I think it's. Look, I came from that side of the business. I spent a long time on on the franchise side, and I recognize the pain that goes with that part of the business. If you don't, you don't have, in many cases, the big corporate balance sheet to rely on. So if you don't make the revenue, if you don't, drive that top line, then you don't pay the light bill, you don't pay the mortgage, and you don't pay the team members. So it's tough. It's a challenge. So however we can best support them and ensure that they're successful, then ultimately our guests will get a great positive experience.
So Rob, just between us, me, you, and Glenn, no one else is listening.
Right.
What's
Hopefully
going on with Blackstone? Any news, any big deals from Blackstone? Because you're owned by Blackstone, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We're within one of the Blackstone funds. And if there was any good news out there, we would have all read it this morning in the Wall Street Journal.
Right.
There's no inside track here, unfortunately.
I want to own a company big enough that one of my funds owns Motel 6. That's my goal.
That'd be nice.
It's almost easier to talk about which hotels are not owned by Blackstone at this point. It's crazy. And I love how they sell brands and then buy them back and then sell them again. It's such an interesting thing.
Maybe I missed it. Has there been any Blackstone news the last 6, 7, 8 weeks? Any big buys or sells? Anything? No. All right.
I look, my commitment to those guys and my contribution to the business is to focus on me. Focus on my business and focus on growing that, and I have hard enough time doing that. So I wish them well, and they take care of us. They treat us with nothing but respect, and helpfulness. And even from the onset of this crisis, it was always, what do you need? How can we help? And even when we came back and we said, look, we're going to cut our royalty fees, it was okay. It's a business decision.
And that's good to know because, in the industry, Blackstone is a big player, obviously the biggest. And sometimes, it's good to hear that big corporation are treating their partners really, really well with respect. It's really important.
So, Rob, let me ask you this. We're talking a little bit about your new hotel pipeline and stuff. The industry, the market is going to be going under fundamental changes. How are you going to approach your franchising efforts to get more people, when they're going to deflag other brands, get to come over to you?
That's a good question.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think, look, from the biggest focus for me is, we've got a lot of opportunity, particularly east of the Mississippi.
Yes.
And in the Northeast. So it's, we'll continue to leverage our strength out west or in the center of the country, but we need to focus more efforts on the East Coast. And what's really important for me is that our development team members, we give them the right tools and resources to be successful, but we want to make sure that we're playing nice in the sandbox. I don't want to be aggressive going after, the competitors' products. I want to make sure that we're being respectful of what our peers are doing out there, and we just want to add our products into the marketplace and add a little bit of a different value proposition for the guests. But I think we definitely have opportunities East Coast, particularly that DC to Boston corridor, where we're not as our distribution is a little bit weaker than I'd like to see.
So that's interesting. Something that, in my opinion, that could have been perceived as a weakness a year ago might actually be a strategic advantage now because you have more open space in order to fill out your portfolio.
I would agree. Yes. And we're sticking with our knitting. We're not getting out of economy lodging. We're not adding in new brands. We're not buying other brands. We're focused on Motel 6 and Studio 6, and that's it. So owners have the confidence with us that that we're not going to go layer in additional products right in their backyard and create challenges for them or start negatively impacting their brand distribution.
So let's start there. Let's do a business class 101. You're in charge of a brand. Other brands are multiplying, right? Every day there's 10 times more brands. So you are in charge of this brand. Okay, so they have this brand. Best Western has Best Western Plus, and Hilton has this, and everybody has something.
And they've all got like a dozen plus, it seems.
So now there's obviously a lot of brands in the marketplace. So now looking at that, why would you not say, hey, let's add a plus, let's add a Motel plus or something? Why not do that? Is it because there are just way too many brands and you feel that if you just stay where you are, that's a better play?
Yeah, I think, look, we just want to, we need to stay focused on, what we're doing, and we just need to expand our distribution. And we don't feel that we need to do that by layering in new products or new brands, and think that, we've been successful for 58 years now, with our strategy and our approach, and we're going to continue to ride that into the future.
Okay, so let me back up, not to be that horse, but why? Why? There's more money to be made. There's more prestige. Maybe if you have a bigger, fancier brand. Why do other people get caught up and you don't? And the reason I'm asking this is very specific, because I want to teach young business people that you just don't go where the shiny light is all the time.
I think you just do better. For us, if you look at some other competitors, not really competitors out there, but outside the industry, you see others excel when they stick to their sweet spot and they don't get distracted with going, and deviating outside. Now, some would disagree and say, well, adding additional hotel brands is not a distraction because it's still ultimately the lodging space. But for us, we want to really focus more, even better on economy lodging, focus more on our owners, focus more on our customers that want low cost, They want clean and comfortable and basically a simple product. And for us, it's just about adding in more Motel 6 locations or more Studio 6 locations in those holes. If we were fully distributed across the nation, and I had 2,500 hotels everywhere from the New York cities all the way through, then I would probably have a different conversation. But right now, I've got gaps, I've got holes that need to be filled, and I'm going to focus there.
So what is your open property count right now?
Right now, we're sitting around 1,450 properties.
Okay, so there's still, again, like on the East Coast, as you're talking about today, plenty of white space for you to go into. So that makes a whole lot of sense. When a company that makes most of its money on franchises and franchise fees and all of those types of things, you run out of that runway in order to move more, to build more profitability in the future. That is when you are going to need to maybe rethink your strategy that you're holding on to for the last 58 years.
That'd be correct.
And
Right.
you may not be going after your peers' business, but is your peers' business coming to you? Meaning, are you getting a lot of people knocking on your door, say, I'm out of this brand. I'm just tired of these brands. I want to come and I want to. Is there opportunity? Are you seeing a lot more opportunity?
Yeah, as agreements expire, we're seeing that when there's real estate transactions or we're seeing longer term agreements expire is when we're starting to get the call. There was a period of time, if you look back 3 years ago, probably even before that, where a number of the other brands were sort of, I don't want to say culling, but they were taking some of their older properties and they were pushing some of those out, and they were bringing in their newer properties. Understandably, it's the life cycle.
So
then that was an opportunity for us to grow.
Let's explain that for 1 second to people, because again, we're talking about franchise fees. So if you have a property that's 20 or 30 years old that's in your system, you could, now I'm speaking as the franchise company that we're reporting to Wall Street, you need to get rid of that property. So that way you could get franchise application fees and a brand new property that's going to be more appropriate or more approachable for guests to want to stay at. So there's this endless cycle where a lot of these major hotel companies have no choice but to always get rid of that 5 or 10% every year in order to continue to move forward with their business and increase their fees. You don't have to worry about that.
That's correct. Yeah, in some cases those deals were done many years ago, where they had extremely restrictive areas of protection, and now you could replace that one property maybe with 2 properties with a little bit more of a reasonable area of protection and 2 new builds. So there was that a lot of that activity looking back 3 to 5 years ago. Looking forward into the future, I suspect that's going to probably wane because, the economy being what it is, people will protect their brands, will want to retain their franchisees, as well as you should expect that I would think new construction will probably, slow.
Right.
So I don't think that opportunity is going to be there.
And again, in the spirit of Hospitality 101, a lot of the major hotel companies out there, what they would do is they would introduce a brand new brand that's a little bit different than a certain brand that's already in their portfolio. That gives them the opportunity to not have to worry about all of these issues about building a property way too close. In that case, you can just open up a property right across the street from their existing hotel, even if there's only a $5 or $7 difference in rate. And that in turn has created a lot of profitability for major hotel companies, but at the same time, has stepped on the toes of a lot of existing hoteliers out there. Has nothing to do with Rob, but I thought it was important for all of you folks to understand the complexity of the market.
And then there are the brands that say, we have feather pillows, so we're changing our brand. We have a new brand. What's the difference of the standard? We have feather pillows, and now it's a new brand. Yeah, you want to piss off an owner, tell them that there's a new product in their brand system coming into their backyard, and say, well, it's a different brand, and the only difference is feather pillows or the blue paint.
But wait, you've got an opportunity to build it first. Just fork over all of the fees and the millions of dollars to build it. So boop, you got that.
And I think, Rob, you're really in a place where you're really helping the owners, because the number one, again, a lot of people that maybe aren't owners, maybe they're just front desk managers, or they're night managers, or they're just, they're working in a hotel and they don't really understand, maybe, and because I didn't understand for many years, kind of the economics of how this works. And it is really friggin' expensive to run a branded managed hotel with third parties, with the expenses going up, with tax. It's real friggin' expensive. And a product like yours allows an owner to really drive down on what you said. What do people need? What Abraham Maslow said in 1943 is people want safety, security, right? Cleanliness. That's what they want. Yep. Right. So that's where you make money, and that's where you stay focused, and that's where you keep it simple, stupid. And I was talking stupid to Glenn, not to you, Rob.
Okay.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
So let me ask you another question in regards to the economy segment in general. Kevin Sanders asks, any concern on new competitors entering the economy segment? But I'd really like to know what your overall feel is about the state of the economy segment, and why perhaps we haven't seen a lot of new players kind of jump into that market as well.
I think we've not seen a lot of new players, just from the standpoint that mid-scale has done such a tremendous job. The products that have come out in mid-scale, really, hats off to all the guys out there that have come up with all these creative mid-scale products, or the improvements and the innovations. So I think that's been the primary focus. And now I think with the economy segment, albeit huge, our focus, I would suggest, is just to get better, is to add where we can, and to improve our product, to improve our services, not by adding in more services, or not by adding in additional amenities, just improve our services, improve our quality of our product, and ensure that the awareness that's out there is positive. In many cases, unfortunately, we've become a punchline.
Right.
And when someone has an inferior quality experience, or they're looking at something, they compare it to, it looks like a Motel 6. Well, no thanks. We have new construction properties out there. We have great new products out there. So it's my job to get that awareness out there, but it's also my job to help everyone in the system focus more on improving the quality, improving the service, ensuring that we're better aligned with AHLA, ensuring that we're better aligned with the HOA, and we're the good citizens, not only in our local communities, but we're good citizens in the industry. I think that's the opportunity for not only for my brand, but the other brands that are out there. And I know the other CEOs, and they're all committed to driving the same quality, and they have the same passion.
And that's why you're the leader you are, and that's why you've been so successful. You literally, a lot of leaders wouldn't even say what you just said. And you said, Motel 6, when people compare, like, oh, what is it, Motel 6? Like most leaders wouldn't even bring that up. And that you're like, you hit that head on and say, hey, we're proud of who we are. We know who we are. And it's like, listen, if you're an Olympian, or you're a marathon runner, or you're a sprinter, you have to know who you are, right? You have to know how your body's built. You have to know what you're passionate about. And so that's why you're admired in the industry. And I appreciate you being transparent.
So, Rob, let me ask you a little bit different of a question. Again, going back to the whole economy state in general, is there some sort of psychological component that keeps the major brands from wanting to unveil or introduce something in the economy segment that has to do more with ego and the perception of that perhaps the economy segment is not the coolest place to be?
I honestly can't answer that. I mean, I think you've got the big players out there. You've got Wyndham, you've got Choice, that, Best Western, and, Red Lion, that have got a lot of different brands and a lot of product in the space. So, I think they're already represented. That I think others that do not have economy product may question whether or not they really need to get into it, or they want to get into it, or I suspect they're also looking at their franchise partners that they have in the mid-scale space, and they're trying to respect their needs. and trying to be respectful of them and the potential impact on them. But I think, there's already great product in this space. I would do everything I can to convince everybody else not to get into it, and stay away. We got this.
Right.
Focus elsewhere.
All right. Our industry friend, Melissa Butler, I know you know her. She expects the economy and extended stay to be the darling of the industry for the next year, and expects more products and brands may be in development right now. So you got to keep your guard up there, Rob. They may be coming after you after all. Question from Corey Minotti. How do we add value to the service when less human contact is in the cultural zeitgeist right now?
Yeah, I think, look, for us, unlike many out there, we do not have presently a contactless front desk experience.
Right.
Because of the way our products are laid out, because of just our business model. And so we have to have at least that front desk experience. And so that's our point of engagement that we're trying to fully leverage, for now. The rest of the experience is there's not other than a room attendant, we don't have a lot of team members around that a guest would encounter. I think it's going to be a challenge for our full service and luxury and even to a certain degree mid-scale brethren out there that are, how do they deliver that experience with less team members or with team members behind plexiglass and all that? It's not something it's not natural for us. All of us are, we like that physical contact, that physical engagement. Right. Barrier-free lobbies is all we talked about for years. And, get rid of the stanchions in the lobby, make the front desks open so you could walk around and engage the guests and greet them. It's not natural for us. So I'm sure there's a lot of great thought and ideas going into how they train, how we educate, and how we deliver a great quality experience, but with a distance and with less.
Right. So then speaking about housekeeping, are you then focused, if you're going to do a little bit less, are you still able to do daily housekeeping? Are you respecting customers that don't want daily? How are you approaching that in general?
Yeah, we're respecting customers that do not want, daily housekeeping.
Right.
We've communicated, we're communicating at every touch point where we can that we're, for the safety and security of our team members, we're trying to limit the interaction with guests, and it's for the guests and it's for our team members. So, the less we go into a guest room, in my view, the safer our team members are, and the safer the guests are. So, we're respecting that.
Makes a whole lot of sense. We got a question coming from the audience. Steve Durasmo asks, is G6 still putting any focus behind the AHLA's 5-star promise on employee safety, or maybe COVID has affected that?
No, we're fully on board. We're still, the 5-star safety promise is still alive and well. It's not only are we focused on the cleaning aspect of it, but the guest safety aspect of it, we're talking about regularly, and we're concerned that with the crisis, with less team members around, less oversight, lower occupancy, there could be an opportunity for a renewed push for that element, with whether it be human trafficking or other nefarious activities, that we're trying to stay focused on it. We're being watchful of it. So safety is something we've not sacrificed on at all, nor would we ever. Safety and cleanliness. It's the foundation of our business.
Excellent. So, Anthony, do you have anything to add?
I was waiting to keep going. You to remember that I was still here. I was just enjoying the conversation.
Usually you forget I'm around, so I just wanted to check in on you to see if you were okay.
I was being quiet. I was enjoying you two gentlemen. This is a good podcast. I should join more.
I know. You should watch it more often. Rob, I got one more question to ask you while Anthony's conjuring up something else to ask you. The thing I'm taking away from this interview is your sharp focus and staying in your lane. What do you do to stay so disciplined, to stay so focused, to not lose sight on what your overall goals with all of the distraction and craziness that's going on around us?
Our franchise partners have a great way of keeping us focused. Talk to them regularly, stay in regular contact with them. They're honest and direct. They tell us what they like and what they don't like, where we're getting over our skis. So we listen and we react. But the other thing for me that helps with focus is looking at those areas where we have gaps. Gaps in that on the East Coast, and until I have a property in every major market, until I have a property in, multiple properties in throughout all the cities at all the major transportation hubs and all that, that's my focus. So it's kind of easy to stay in our lane, and to stay disciplined if you just keep going there. And again, it's how do we get better every day?
What's your number one, and you may not want to answer this, but what's your number one market that you would love to be in, like right now? If you had a choice right now, what's the number one market you would love a hotel in right now that you don't have one?
New York City.
What's that?
I don't have one in New York City.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll open one for you.
Hey, and considering the Omni Berkshire place announced a permanent closure, you might have an opportunity to scoop that one up. Who knows?
I don't have a property in New York City. We've got customers that are, our customers are those individuals that we've all celebrated during this crisis. And we finally recognize they're getting the credit. They're those contractors. They are the truck drivers. They're the manufacturers. They are the small business owners that where a hotel's night lodging is coming out of their own pocket. So it's not an expense report. It's coming out of their own pocket. So, it's the extra dollar spent in lodging is $1 that's taken away from their pocket or their family. And so I think, in a market like New York City, I think there's most definitely a need that we could fill. And so, I'd love to be in New York. Our service is kind of with all the restaurants that are in New York, albeit, struggling now, but with all the restaurants, with all the services that are out there, we believe that a guest would appreciate clean, comfortable, and affordable, not looking for a breakfast, not looking for a loyalty program, not looking for extra, fancy amenities in their rooms. They just want basic, clean, comfortable, and affordable.
I know when I travel, I want my door closed. I want my fast food that I just brought in, and I want everybody to leave me alone.
And plenty of towels to drape over furniture so you can sit comfortably.
That is correct.
Rob, any final thoughts before we wrap up today?
No, I appreciate you guys, everything you're doing. Again, I can't emphasize enough that what you're doing and what I think the rest of the industry trade publications have been doing has been enormously helpful. It's keeping all of us linked. It's keeping us informed. It's you both do it in a very lighthearted manner, but deliver an important message. And I just can't thank you enough because it keeps me informed. It keeps my team informed, my owners informed, and we appreciate it. And it's at times it's nice to know that you're not the only one out there suffering because of this or because of that. And, and that there will be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Out of curiosity,
the Motel 6 light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, thank you so much for those kind words. We can never hear enough of that because it's what drives us, and we're passionate about it. But if I can put you on the spot, what is one show? If you remember all the shows we've done, and I know you're busy, so you probably don't watch a lot of them. Is there one show that resonates with you that kind of either taught you something or a light bulb went off, and you were like, "Hey, you know what? I'm dealing with that too," and that was really helpful.
My guess it's one of the few shows Anthony was not on, so feel free to put that out there.
God, no, that's a tough one. That's definitely a tough question. I think I I think any of the shows where you've got the other guys that, that speak with passion and energy, and, and are just telling it straight. No prepared scripts and all of that. And I think neither one of you allow that, because you're always off the cuff. Your questions are coming, you got to keep thinking. So you can't be prepared. And I think that's what's the most helpful of all. But there was a show a couple months ago. There was that Rob guy from Motel 6.
He was really good. It's fantastic.
Amazing. I mean, I learned so much.
But to your point, we had somebody on not too long ago, and I think the entire audience realized I was getting pretty aggravated, and we changed the subject pretty quick. And I think the people, I got DMs and people were like, "Hey, I couldn't stand that guy," and it's not so much that I didn't like the guy, or it's like that's not what we were talking about. And it was a couple of weeks ago, and we again, I fine person, but it's not the conversation I wanted to have. And so
uncomfortable. How about the word uncomfortable?
You know what? And I think it's really important. And one of the things that I remember every once in a while is, holy shit, this is our show, and I want I want information out there. I don't want only your perspective for your company self-serving. If your company and your opinions and the things that you're talking about are serving everyone, great. But if you come on here to be self-serving, that's not the show.
Right.
And I always appreciate your honesty and transparency. And listen, I always say the number one trait of a really good leader is transparency. If you're not transparent, I always say, when I walk in a room, I want to be in on the joke that you're in on. Yeah. Because if I'm the joke in the room, that's fine. Just let me know I'm the joke.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'll play along with you.
Rob, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We'll definitely get you back here as we approach the fall season, so you can give us a little bit more clarity on what your owners and your company is thinking about that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, take care. Have a great one.
Stay healthy.
Yeah, you too. All right,
and Rob, I know you're probably still listening. I really think if it comes up on Waze, you're driving down I-70.
Let's just bring him back if you're going to make that comment.
And you see a Motel 6, and all of a sudden you hear, "How you doing?" not like a Brooklyn thing. Like, "Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Come on, how you doing?" I think you should think about it, man.
I like it.
Rob,
I like it.
When Tom Bodette retires, I think you got to hire us. Go from the folksy Midwest thing, bring it all the way home to Brooklyn. All right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
See ya.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Wow, what a great time. I want to
he's one of the good guys, man. He's just one of the good guys. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's really terrific. And again, in the theme of everybody coming on here being open and honest and forthright with us, we cannot expect anything more. And after all of you listeners out there really demand that of us and of our guests. Okay, 2:00 today. It's not too late. Go subscribe right now and go join us at the Hotel Reboot Show. Today, we're going to be discussing how you can change your property operations. Real highly informational stuff with actionable insight what you can do. And don't worry, if you miss it at 2:00, it's going to be available in perpetuity, along with our first show and our third and fourth shows as well, which is going to be focusing on investments, and the fourth one on food and beverage. And then, Anthony, hospitality success, right?
Please go to hospitalitysuccess.com, or you can go to Facebook Hospitality Success for all your hospitality needs.
All right.
Look, I can be a Motel 6 spokesman.
I think you can. So join us at Hotel Reboot. We promise to, I'll give you all sorts of great information. I was going to say, leave the lights on
what's
for
really
you,
important about Hotel Reboot, I'll be honest with you, is it's very specifically focused. It's the name of the show and the people you have on is very specifically focused for reopening your property. And I think it's an incredible product, and I look forward to watching it myself. And those guests you have on are insane top level guests. And that's what's great about this show too. It's like we're not getting the assistant manager of the assistant general, vice president's,
the assistant to
cousin,
manager,
nephews, brothers, uncle. We're getting the players, and you're getting the players on that. So I wish you well, and I know you had a lot of signups yesterday. So let's tell me where we can find you.
Go to hotelreboot.com. That's hotelreboot.com. Guys, I appreciate the support. Buy one session, buy the masterclass for all sessions. But listen, you're going to be doing yourself a favor because in the end, you're going to learn a whole lot
And
of
listen,
things that are going to help you improve your business.
Can I tell everybody what I said to you yesterday
Sure.
about the price of
Yes.
your product?
Yes.
I was like, raise the damn prices. Like it was too inexpensive. I mean,
know.
it's honestly, it's just like, what are you doing, man? Like these are great guests and it's a great product, and I think you're too inexpensive. But hey, man, it's your pricing model.
Oh, what can I tell you? I wanted to make it affordable to all of our great listeners and
Was it
viewers
$60
out there.
for the entire series or
For
something?
all four, $20 a session. But if you'd spend if you want to get the master pass for all four, it's basically you get one for free. So check us out at hotelreboot.com. And thanks for helping me plug it, Anthony.
My pleasure. And you know what? If for $60, I think you should charge $600. But
all right,
we'll keep it for 60. Hey, you better get there before it goes up to 600, because if I get involved, it's going to 600.
All right, everybody. For those of you who are going to be joining us in an hour, I'll see you there. For everybody else, okay, I won't see you, but we'll see you right back here tomorrow for another great show. We're going to have Mikhail Welch, who's a designer and TV personality tomorrow, as well as a couple of other people I'm trying to put together right now.
So let me just tell you something.
Yeah.
And you'll hear more about tomorrow. You'll hear more about Mikhail Welch tomorrow, but his sister was my producer, and I just love that woman. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. So what's your quote there, brother?
Oh, yeah. Let's wrap this bad boy up. Join us for hotelreboot.com. And remember, you got one life, so blaze on, and
we'll keep the light on for you.
see you guys tomorrow.